Thanks exclusively to Donald Trump's painful, unnecessary, and rapidly escalating global trade war, the U.S. stock market just officially ended its worst week since 2020, when Trump was president last time during the height of the COVID-triggered recession. And while all of this is going on and the American people are feeling the pain, Trump is down in Florida golfing in privilege, tweeting out things like only the weak will fail, and reportedly he is out, quote, of zero fucks. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we got some things to look at here, including a really powerful message from Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell, who just delivered an awesome message in response to this shitstorm that Trump has created. So while all of this is going on, Trump says this: only the weak will fail. Again, he's tweeting in between rounds of golf in Florida, in privilege, and a taxpayer-subsidized trip to Florida, while everyone else suffered. As media and others are reporting, the Dow closed 2,200 points down amid Trump tariff sell-off, ending the worst week since 2020. Stocks plummeted for a second straight day Friday, with the Dow Jones down another 2,200 points, or 5.5, amid uncertainty about Donald Trump's tariffs. The drop ended the worst trading week since March 2020, when the COVID pandemic closed down much of the economy and sparked a sell-off. The Nasdaq and the S&P 500 both closed down 5.8 and 5.9 respectively. Fears of a global trade war were made real on Friday as well, when China announced a 34% tariff on all U.S. goods, matching Trump's levy. Trump unveiled a sweeping reciprocal tariff plan, which, by the way, is a misnomer. They were not reciprocal, as we've discussed, at an event at the White House on Wednesday, which investors reacted to by selling stocks en masse at the market open on Thursday morning. The Dow closed Thursday down 11,679 points, or 3.98%. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq dropped 5.97, and the S&P closed by 4.8. Trump has said that the market uncertainty will be temporary, as he expects a boom after the global economy adjusts to his shakeup on trade. Wednesday, after he announced the sweeping new tariffs on allies and adversaries alike, Trump wrote on his Truth Social account, in all caps, "The operation is over, the patient lived, and he is healing. The prognosis is that the patient will be far stronger, bigger, better, and more resilient than ever before. Make America great again." And then just before the market closed on Friday, again, Trump said only the weak will fail, which we shared just a moment ago. The Washington Post cited a source close to the president who claimed with no more elections to win, he has reached the, quote, peak of not giving a fuck about bad press. Let's look at this reporting. Inside Trump's whirlwind decision to upend global trade. Ultimately, Trump resolved to follow his own instincts and was surrounded by senior officials who enabled him. Not long after Trump's inauguration, the administration's economic staff went to work on a daunting task, determining tariff rates for dozens of countries to fulfill Trump's campaign pledge of imposing reciprocal trade barriers. After weeks of work, aides from several government agencies produced a menu of options meant to account for a wide range of trading practices, according to 3 people familiar with the matter. Instead, Trump personally selected a formula that was based on 2 simple variables: the trade deficit with each country and the total value of its U.S. exports, said 2 of the people who spoke on the condition of anonymity to recount internal talks. While precisely who proposed that option remains unclear, it bears some striking similarities to a methodology published during Trump's first administration by disgraced Peter Navarro, now Trump's hard-charging economic advisor. After its debut in the Rose Garden on Wednesday, the crude math drew mockery from economists as Trump's new global trade war prompted a sharp drop in markets. Trump's decision to impose tariffs on trillions of dollars of goods reflects 2 key factors animating his second term in office: his resolve to follow his own instincts, even if it means bucking long-standing checks on the U.S. presidency, and his choice of a senior team that enables his defiance of those checks. The process presented a stark departure from past administrations. The White House used emergency powers to implement the tariffs, allowing officials to speed through deliberations and limit input from corporations and foreign leaders. After deliberations that went into late Tuesday, Trump didn't decide on the final plan until about 1 p.m. Wednesday, less than 3 hours ahead of his Rose Garden announcement. Inside and outside the White House, advisors say Trump is unbowed even as the world reels from the biggest increase in trade hostilities in a century. They say Trump is unperturbed by negative headlines or criticism from foreign leaders. He's determined to listen to a single voice, his own, to secure what he views as his political legacy. Trump has long characterized import duties as necessary to revive the U.S. economy, at one point calling tariffs the most beautiful word in the dictionary. Key quote, He's at the peak of just not giving a fuck anymore, said a White House official with knowledge of Trump's thinking. Quote, bad news stories? Doesn't give a fuck. He's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to do what he promised to do on the campaign trail. Yep. That's where we are. That's the guy who is, between him and Elon Musk, the most powerful man on earth. The guy who gets to decide who to nuke and when. Sole discretion there. And who to metaphorically nuke with respect to these ridiculous, totally unjustified tariffs. And he's golfing in privilege again on a taxpayer-subsidized trip to Florida. Now, again, I'll remind you, during that flight to Florida on Air Force One, Trump was asked about the market turmoil, and this is what he had to say.
You ready for some questions?
Anybody want to buy one? Okay, let's go.
First, we'd love to get your reaction, sir, to what's going on in the financial markets today.
Well, I mean, it's to be expected. This is a patient that was very sick. We really inherited a terrible economy, as you know, with a lot of problems, including loss of manufacturing and plants closed up all over the country. You know, we've lost 90,000 plants since NAFTA, if you think of that. 90,000. It's not even believable. And about 6 million jobs. And so it was a sick patient. It went through an operation on Liberation Day. And it's going to be a booming country. A very booming country. It's going to
Demolitions boom. Usually a boom associated with demolitions. That's not encouraging. Yeah, he's indifferent. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck. He's extremely rich. He's been made even wealthier, at least in terms of his on-paper net worth, by virtue of that corrupt as hell meme or shit coin that he launched right before he was inaugurated a second time. He constantly enriches himself by violating the emoluments clause of the Constitution, which he did liberally during his first term. Again, nobody cares. They would care if it were a Democrat, but not Trump. Trump is, again, enjoying so many taxpayer subsidies, Air Force One, taxpayer-subsidized Secret Service protection, and on and on and on and on. He just doesn't care. He gets to make all the decisions which impact everybody else, mostly in a negative way, and he gets to coast above the storm. And assuming that he doesn't try to violate the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution and remain in power unlawfully, which he tried to remain in power unlawfully during the end of his first term with the fake elector scheme in January 6th, so I wouldn't rule it past him. But let's say none of that happens and he's content to just leave office after 4 years, having basically used his victory to shut down any efforts to hold him legally accountable for his crimes in his first term. Let's just say he's like, you know what, I'm done. I'm rich, I'm powerful. Again, taxpayer subsidized protection for the rest of my life. Presidential immunity, the cases have been dismissed against me. I'm done. He's still never going to feel the consequences, even the political consequences of his decision, because he's not running for a third term. Right? Sad. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell, who's again, when it comes to rhetoric, one of the best the Democrats have, he put this scorcher out on the internet, and I think it's really, really good, really powerful messages. And this, by the way, is the sort of rhetoric that all Democrats should ruthlessly adopt.
Is crashing right now. It's crashing. And the President of the United States, he is golfing. He's fucking golfing. If you can believe that. He's hitting balls. I'm taking calls from constituents and people all over the country whose 401ks are now 201ks. The cost of your groceries is going way up. Go to Target, go to Walmart, go to Home Depot. Almost everything that you're going to put in your shopping cart was made overseas, and the cost of it is going way up. This is fucking insane. The guy is golfing right now as you're going to be paying more. Retirement security, gone. All of that is gone. This guy doesn't care. It's not about America first, it's about Trump first. So, Mr. President, get your ass off the golf course and go fix this.
I would even ditch the Mr. President. I would just say, hey, Donald, get your ass off the golf course and go fix this. Like, people need to stop treating this man with respect, right? He doesn't deserve it. He certainly doesn't reciprocate it. And I'm tired of this asymmetry. So if I had one critique for Congressman Swalwell is to drop the Mr. President shit. Don't refer to him as President Trump. Don't refer to him as Mr. President. Don't use the title. Republicans very rarely use it for President Biden. So again, just match like for like. But overall, that message is really good. Putting the blame squarely on Trump, which it rightly belongs to because he is singularly responsible for this, and pointing out the indifference. He's going out having the time of his life, also skipping the dignified transfer of the remains of 4 U.S. troops who died in a training exercise in Lithuania on his watch. He's going to watch or play golf instead. Imagine if President Biden did that. The right and even the center would be furious. But again, we're just inclined to grade Trump on a curve. Democrats should also be talking about that nonstop. This is where we are. Again, to be very clear, the market just closed with its worst week in 5 years. And the last time it was this bad, Trump was also president, presiding over a recession. So it's, it seems to rhyme in the worst possible way. And this time, it's not even because of Trump mismanaging a pandemic. It's Trump creating the crisis itself, not just mishandling the crisis, not just mismanaging the crisis, as was the case with COVID. He's creating the crisis single-handedly. It's so much worse. That's where we are. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.